Hiya! Welcome to Records Roundup number 42. I've got 4 arrivals in my record collection to show you today. One less than the minimum that I normally like to show, to be honest. But the item I'll show you first has actually got, I think, 4 CDs and a record in it, probably a double vinyl record actually. I'm trying to ramp down my spending, believe it or not, this month, simply because I'm in London at the end of August for the big AEW pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium, and I just want to make sure I've got some money to take with me. I've got a couple of pre-orders coming, records-wise, over the next couple of weeks or so, and I still look at sites, especially ones that have sales on and things like that, still checking Discogs Marketplace, so maybe this will be the last records roundup for a couple of weeks or more, maybe not. Depends really, but if you don't see records roundup for a little while, longer than normal, that'll be wise, because I've managed to actually stop spending for 5 minutes. But anyway, let's get on with the records that I can show you. I'm really excited to show you something in particular, as it's a grail of mine that I didn't think I'd be getting quite so soon, but we'll get on to that in a little bit. I want to show you a box set first. Now, normally when I get a record box set or a record/CD box set, which is what this is, I tend to show it in an unboxing video on its own, but with this one, I don't think there's an awful lot I can talk about regarding it, to be honest. So I'm going to get it open now within Records Roundup. It's something that I've had for getting on for a couple of weeks now, but I've not taken it out its packaging or anything. And it is this. This is the Black Friday album by German rapper Bushido. Now then, I've been listening to Bushido for a few years now, predominantly on YouTube, but collecting his albums and stuff is a little bit tricky. He's not sold anywhere in this country. I've checked websites. Discogs is like your one place really, or one of a very, very few. You know, there's a couple of eBay sellers as well, I suppose, but they're international, usually German as well. Not too long ago, I discussed Bushido on the Old Sodcast live show that I host with Not Suitable for Mum, Jason Clow. And I was saying how much I like his style of rapping, and how much I like German hip-hop in general, even though it's a bit bizarre for me, an English speaker, to like German rapping. I do like German music, notably Rammstein, but I do like Bushido as well, and I just wanted to get something physical by Bushido in my collection. He's not released an awful lot on vinyl. This is like in a minority really, and even this, technically the album, the main part of this is actually the CD. The vinyl in here is more of like a bonus album, but I'll try and talk about it a little bit more as I get it open, because as you can see it is still sealed in its cellophane. I've not listened to this yet. There's some stuff on the back which I think is mostly copyright stuff and a few websites. So let me get this open. The cellophane is threatening to come off or be torn, so I'm just going to tear it all now. So that's Bushido's logo on the front, which will be some Japanese symbol, probably the Japanese symbol or word for Bushido. I can't remember, there's a word for Japanese lettering, isn't there? And I've forgotten what it is. Someone help me out in the comments. Excuse my ignorance. Right, how do we open this then? I think it might hinge somehow, does it? Or does it just slide out? Ah, no, yeah, it's got like a hinged lid here. So that's quite nice. With box sets, I do tend to prefer to sit down to show them. Ah, so the vinyl record in this set is actually on top. So this isn't the Black Friday album. This is like a bonus album, and it's a collaborative one. There we are. It's called, I think, CCN, and it might be in a CCN series, which stands for Carlo Cox Newton. And it's credited to Sonny Black, who I know is Bushido's alter ego, and Frank White, which I think is one of his regular collaborators. There's the back. Just seen something else in here that I completely forgot came with this. This set, by the way, cost me, it was under £50, including postage and taxes from Germany, and I thought that wasn't a bad deal given everything that's in this. There's another set similar to this that's at a similar price, and depending on how I get on with this stuff, because I've not listened to pretty much anything on any of these albums that are included in this yet. So there's the gatefold center. I'll show you one of the discs. This is a 2-album set. I think it's just black vinyl to the best of my knowledge. Yep, it is. The center labels all seem to look pretty much identical, apart from obviously an indicator to let you know if you're listening to side A or B, etc. So one thing that I completely forgot would be included in this is a t-shirt. And as you can see, new and sealed. I'm going to leave this sealed actually. I think it's just going to be this green Bushido Black Friday logo looking at it. I didn't realise, or I'd forgotten at least, that a t-shirt was included in this. It won't fit me. It'll be like size medium or something ridiculous. There's other sets. Like I said, there's a similar set to this that I think maybe a little bit older than Black Friday, where I remembered there was a t-shirt included, and that's probably where the confusion is. I thought that this set didn't have a t-shirt, it just had records and CDs, but there we go. I'll put that back in the box, to be honest. So here are the CDs. So this is the Black Friday album. Now, Bushido on CD is pretty easy to collect. I prefer to collect on vinyl, but this is a box set that mixes both. This is like the main thing, and it's 2 CD sets. It's got the album on the first disc and all the instrumentals on the second disc, which seems to be quite a popular thing for Bushido and a lot of his contemporaries. I know it happens in American hip-hop as well, but it's common for them in Germany to release the instrumentals along with the main album right away. Yeah, it lists about a Black Friday tour there, which would have been in 2017. Bushido is quite a controversial artist. Go back and watch the old Sodcast Guilty Pleasures episode from some weeks back. I'll leave a link at the top of the description if I remember, and that's where I talk about Bushido. Also, I'll endeavour to put a clip from a track from Black Friday in this video, but he gets copyright blocked all the time, every time I've tried to use a bit of his music for anything really. So don't be surprised if that has to get caught in a moment. Then what we have here, it's another CD, and I believe this is like a bonus EP. So tracks that didn't make the proper album. Yeah, it's just called bonus EP. And there again, this is a 2-discer with the instrumentals as well. So you can see you get a lot here. The Bushido material that I'm most familiar with is his stuff from kind of like the late 2000s really. This is a lot more recent. I've not really listened to any of his recent stuff yet, so whether I'll like this as much as I like his stuff from maybe 10 years previous, I'll have to wait and see. But I just thought I'd take a punt on this just before I put everything back to show you the bottom of the box set there. This feels nice and premium really. The hole at the bottom houses at least the bonus EP CD set there. Of course is the collaborative album that I don't think this has come out on its own either, so this is like a box set exclusive, where if you wanted that, or at least the vinyl version, you had to buy this whole Black Friday box set. But I'm really pleased that I got this. I'm not saying I'll love everything that's on it. I've been a Bushido fan, kind of a casual fan, just listening on YouTube and watching his promo videos for a few years now. Threatened to buy something of his, preferably on vinyl. This seemed the best thing out there, one of the few things out there. As I say, there's another box set that I may get. Trouble is, when it's box sets, they just take up too much room, so I prefer to get just single vinyl on its own. But even so, really happy to have picked up Black Friday by Bushido. Something that for me is even more exciting than that, and that I think was a really, really nice box set with a t-shirt, CDs, vinyl. But this is just a standard 1-disc LP, but it is something that I mentioned a couple of records roundups ago that is indeed a grail, and I was able to get it on eBay. It was up for auction. The start price was £90. Thank heavens I was the only bidder. I bid a little bit more than that just in case, but I was the only bidder, so I got it for 90. A lot of money, expensive, but this was really my #1 want and has been now for a few months. It is 1987 What the Fuck's Going On by the Justified Ancients of Mu Mu. aka the KLF, of course. I looked at the pictures on eBay, on the auction. Everything looked to be in nice condition, plain inner, but it's got the inserts that apparently only some of these albums originally came with, and it's been conserved, so I'll show you that in a sec. And the vinyl itself, which we'll have a little look at in a moment, is also looking pretty good for its age, which is obviously from 1987, so a good, what, 35 years ago. So that's the insert, just a cheaply photocopied A4 piece of paper there, but I think a lot of these have been chucked out over the years, and it's nice that this one has survived really, and survived really well with no creases or anything. So the owner of this has really kept it in good condition, and the guy who sold it to me, he said it was his first time selling on eBay. He'd got good feedback, but I think that was all feedback as a buyer, and he was relieved that I gave him good feedback and that everything got here safely. He told me he was a bit nervous about selling something, particularly something that's quite valuable. So while you might think £90 is way too much to pay for an album, and in real terms it is, the only other copy of 1987 that's been on eBay for quite some time is a buy it now one, and someone's asking £500 for it. Just a quick look at the disc there. It's got the custom Justified Ancients of Moo Moo centre label there. It's also on Discogs, but a couple of the Discogs sellers are selling a bootleg copy, and even then they're asking a lot for it, and really they're selling it in the wrong section, because the actual section for the bootleg copies, the sale of those has been blocked, so they're getting around it by listing in the official version, but then putting a note in the description saying this is actually the reissue, which isn't an official reissue and shouldn't really be sold. I've not got a problem with that, but they're still asking a lot of money for it. Like, I got Shag Times and Chill Out by the KLF/Jams on unofficial vinyl, and they were fair prices. You know, I got them for what I would pay for a brand new album really, and it didn't bother me that they were bootlegs technically. With this being an original, I think 90 quid's actually pretty good, because I think the first original copy on Discogs I've seen was about 200, and like I say, on the eBay, at least at the time of me recording, £500 someone's asking for this, which is just silly really. It isn't worth that much, as rare as this is. So as you can see, this is in great condition for its age. I would have liked a cheaper bootleg edition, but I wasn't going to pay the money that people were asking for on Discogs. £90, I was worried that I'd be outbid. I didn't want to bid too much higher than that, but fortunately no one else, at least on the day, seemed to notice it, and I got it for 90. The Jams, 1987. What the F-U-C-K is going on?
She was standing at the bar while Healy cut his thrust. Question time. Mikey Buck!
The penultimate pickup today is one from my beloved Juno Records. I know I seem to get something from Juno nearly every week. Hopefully I'll give them a bit of a miss for the next few weeks just to save some money. But they were offering a 10% discount code to pretty much everyone who went on the site. And I thought, well, you know, that's only valid till I think the 1st of August. Let me go and see if I can find something and get a few quid off it. And I found this that they had a few months back up on the site, and then it disappeared, and then they obviously got some more stock in recently. And it's the second album from Sisters of Mercy, Floodland, and it's the Mo-Fi edition. So a nice audiophile, high quality pressing here. Now the first Sisters of Mercy album, First, Last and Everything, I've also got a Mo-Fi, that was from Juno as well. I did see this not too long afterwards, and I think it was priced a little bit high for me at the time. I think they're asking nearly £50, but this was on Juno's site recently at 35. Then with 10% off, that put it down to about 32. So I thought that was pretty good for a Mo-Fi album. I think £30 for an audiophile version of a record is decent enough to pay. And I enjoyed the first album enough that I thought I'll take, not a punt, because I'm familiar with a couple of the singles on here at least, but I thought I'd just add this to the Mo-Fi / Sisters of Mercy collection. I think there's only one more Sisters of Mercy album that ever came out, not including compilations and things, but actual studio albums, so I may pick that up at some point just to say I've completed the Sisters collection. I don't think that's out on Mobile Fidelity, so just the first 2 albums of theirs I think were Mo-Fi releases, but I will double check that if I do decide to look for the 3rd album. Happy to get that. Sisters of Mercy, the goth rock project from Andrew Eldritch of the 1980s and early 90s with Floodland. And finally, some mail to open, and you might be able to tell from the snazzy mailer, this is from Rough Trade. Now, this was actually from their eBay store, and I've credited it as being a Rough Trade purchase on the on-screen graphic that you'll see with all the info in a minute. And of course it is technically, but normally when it's like a random eBay seller or a company on eBay I'm not altogether familiar with, I will just credit it as an eBay purchase on screen. But yeah, I've credited this as Rough Trade, even though it was Rough Trade via eBay. They've got a sale going on their website, and they've also got some reductions on their eBay store, and never the twain shall meet, really. I looked for this particular album on their website just as a matter of interest. The price on eBay was great. It was £16 something, had 35% off, and it's something I wanted to try out, and I'll explain why in a minute. It was still full price on Rough Trade's actual website. It couldn't be found in their summer sale section, and vice versa. There's some stuff reduced in their summer sale on the site that's still full price on their eBay store. So what I can glean from that is it's worth checking both, to be honest, if you like shopping at Rough Trade. And I don't use them an awful lot, but I do rate them generally. They send stuff out quick, well packaged, and it's Rough Trade in it. You know, they've known music for many decades now. But let me get this open. So, as I say, about £16 and some pence, had 35% off according to the eBay listing. A buy it now purchase, obviously. I think this is the one thing I don't like about Rough Trade. Their mailers always seem a bit of a faff to open, because the pull down tab just disintegrates on you. Let me get my knife to do it. So the reason I bought this is because in the last Records Roundup I showed you an album by Shadow Party. It was actually signed by two members of New Order and Shadow Party, Phil Cunningham and Tom Chapman, and also one of the guys in the band who used to be in Devo. And it was £6 bargain, and I listened to it the other day. I finally got around to it, and it was really good. I thought, well, I know that Cunningham and Chapman have formed another band since called Sea Fever, so let me see if I can find that album for a good price. And this was probably the best price I found, the Indies exclusive vinyl edition. There's a black vinyl edition, and there might be a white one that was possibly a website exclusive, I'm not sure. But here we are. This is Folding Lines by Sea Fever. So this was the band formed by Phil Cunningham and Tom Chapman a few years after Shadow Party. Whether Shadow Party are going to do anything else, I'm not sure at all, to be honest. And Sea Fever, this is their only album. But it goes in the New Order collection, really, and Shadow Party sounded great. The little bit of Sea Fever I've heard so far sounds really good. Yeah, I'm just happy to take a punt on this. but £16 free postage as well, which is probably a bonus ordering from Rough Trade on eBay than it is on their website, because it was free postage just for one item, whereas on the website I think you have to get up to about 50 quid or something like that. Plus you can use PayPal on eBay, whereas you can't on their website. So I've heard a couple of tracks off here. Like what I've heard, one of them might be the one that hopefully I'll be playing a clip of in a moment. To me, sounds very Depeche Mode actually, even though there's two guys from New Order in it. I want to get this open and check that it's the right edition. If it's not, I might mention it to Rough Trade. I might send them a message on eBay telling them they've sent me the wrong edition, because it does happen, because there's no discernible hype saying it's the Indies exclusive yellow. But I'll open it now and find out if it is or not, and if it's not, then you never know, they might give me a bit of money back maybe. No need, because it is the Indies only yellow edition. Very nice kind of sun yellow vinyl there, and there's your inner with the members. The lady on the left, I think she's Beth Cassidy, who is in Section 25, which her father formed on Factory Records with his brother back in the late 70s. So yep, happy with that. Nice simple male opening to finish with. Sea Fever and Folding Lines.
Rushed up, rolled on, flushed out until the habit's gone. Cracked skies, gave in, tough shouts to where the fun begins.
Thank you all for watching Records Roundup number 42. Hope you enjoyed it. Some really good stuff here. That Bushido box set is really nice. So glad that I took a punt on that. You're basically getting 2 albums and a double EP, if you include all the instrumental versions that are on there in that set, and a t-shirt as well, which I'm never going to wear, never even going to unwrap probably. And of course the Jams 1987 album. That's just a grail ticked off really for me. I want to say special thanks to all my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. Please see all my usual referral links for sites such as HMV and Urban Jungle Contents Insurance down in the description. Also there you will find my Patreon link and Facebook group link too. I'm going to go now. Lots to listen to here. There always is. I've always got a backlog going. Probably a good thing that I'm going to try not to spend too much money over the next few weeks, just to save some money for London. It'll also mean I can get down my to listen to pile a bit quicker as well. Well, maybe not quicker, but I won't be adding as much to it, apart from the pre-orders that I know are coming this month anyway. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next time, whenever that may be. Probably not too long, to be honest, for my next Records Roundup and my next record and music collecting video. Cheers everyone. See ya!